Have you ever wondered why some men struggle with emotions and relationships more than others? Could childhood trauma be a silent player in this? Well, these questions aren't as far-fetched as they might sound. You see, childhood trauma in men is far more prevalent than we might imagine, and its impact, often overlooked, can be profound. Just like a stone tossed into a pond creates ripples that extend far beyond the point of impact, so too does childhood trauma create ripples in the lives of men, influencing their emotions, relationships, and even their self-perception. Our purpose today is to shine a light on this often hidden issue. We'll journey together through a landscape marked by signs, 5 signs to be precise, that could indicate the presence of childhood trauma. Recognizing these signs is a crucial first step. Understanding these signs can help men confront their past and seek the support they need. Let's start this vital conversation. The first sign we're exploring today is difficulty with emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is the capacity to manage and respond to an experience with a range of emotions in a socially acceptable manner. Now imagine a child exposed to trauma. This child's emotional compass may become skewed, leading to difficulty in regulating emotions in adulthood. This difficulty can surface in various ways. Maybe it's the man who bursts into anger over minor inconveniences, or perhaps it's the individual who feels overwhelmed by sadness without any apparent reason. It could be the friend who appears emotionally detached, struggling to express joy or affection. These are all examples of emotional regulation challenges. But here's the thing. It's not just about the inability to control emotions, but also about the struggle to understand them. What we need to remember is that these reactions aren't character flaws. Men who struggle with emotional regulation may not always realize it's a sign of unresolved trauma. The second sign of childhood trauma is experiencing relationship challenges. Childhood trauma can leave a lasting imprint on a person's ability to connect with others. It's like a shadow that creeps into interactions, often causing men to struggle with trust, intimacy, and vulnerability. Take John, for example. He was raised in an unstable home environment. As an adult, he finds it difficult to maintain romantic relationships. He fears rejection and often pushes people away before they have the chance to abandon him. Or consider Tom, who experienced physical abuse as a child. He has a hard time expressing his emotions and often resorts to anger. This makes it difficult for him to form strong bonds with friends, family, and romantic partners. These are just 2 examples of how childhood trauma can affect relationships. It's important to remember that these challenges are not indicative of a person's worth or character. Remember, struggling with relationships doesn't mean you're flawed. It might be a sign that you're carrying old wounds. Moving on to the third sign, self-destructive behaviors. These are actions that inadvertently harm an individual's physical or mental well-being. They can manifest in various forms, such as substance abuse, reckless behavior, or even self-sabotage in personal and professional contexts. Now, you might wonder, why would someone intentionally harm themselves? Well, the root often lies in unresolved childhood trauma. These behaviors act as a misguided coping mechanism, a way to numb the pain, distract from distressing memories, or even punish oneself for perceived faults. For instance, consider John, who faced severe neglect as a child. As an adult, he frequently indulges in binge drinking, a classic example of a self-destructive behavior. John might not consciously connect his drinking to his childhood experiences, but his actions could very well be a subconscious attempt to escape the haunting memories of his past. Remember, self-destruction isn't a choice, but a cry for help. The fourth sign of childhood trauma in men is chronic anxiety or depression. This may seem like a broad category, but the connection between childhood trauma and these mental health issues is significant. Trauma at a young age can be like a seed planted in the mind, growing over time into a thorny bush of anxiety or a heavy cloud of depression. When traumatic events are not addressed and healed, they can leave long-lasting imprints on a person's psyche, often manifesting as chronic anxiety or depression. Picture someone constantly on edge, always anticipating the worst, or feeling a persistent sense of hopelessness and sadness. These are the invisible shackles of unaddressed trauma, the echoes of painful past experiences that linger in the mind. Remember, these conditions are not mere personality quirks or signs of weakness. They are signals that something deeper needs addressing, a cry for help from the inner child still trapped in the shadows of the past. Mental health issues aren't a sign of weakness, but a signal that something deeper needs addressing. Our final sign today is dissociation. Dissociation is a complex psychological experience where a person disconnects from their thoughts, feelings, memories, or sense of identity. This can be a direct result of childhood trauma, as the mind attempts to protect itself from distressing experiences. Imagine a man sitting in a bustling coffee shop. He's physically present, but mentally he's miles away, detached from his surroundings. He may feel as if he's observing his life from an outside perspective or as if he's living in a dream. This is not daydreaming, it's a sign of dissociation. Often people who experience trauma in childhood develop this coping mechanism to shield themselves from painful memories or overwhelming emotions. However, while it served as a survival tool during distressing times, it can also create a barrier preventing them from fully experiencing life in the present. Dissociation is a survival mechanism, but it can also keep you from truly living. Now that we've explored these 5 signs, we hope you have a better understanding of the hidden impacts of childhood trauma. Let's quickly recap. Difficulty with emotional regulation, relationship challenges, self-destructive behavior, chronic anxiety or depression, and dissociation. These are all potential indicators of unresolved childhood trauma in men. Recognizing these signs is the first step towards healing. If you or someone you know is dealing with these issues, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Therapists and psychologists are trained to help navigate these complex emotions and behaviors, and can provide the tools needed for recovery. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. It doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're strong enough to admit when you're struggling, and that's a sign of true strength. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to Superior Wisdom for more enlightening content. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness.